All right, and welcome to the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. We have an interview this week, and we have a couple of the founding members of Paper Street Pictures. We have Cameron Burns and Alex Euting. Did I do it wrong?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
You like
It's
the
a
letter
hard,
U.
it's a
Uding.
hard
Yeah,
U.
I said
Hard
Euting.
U.
Muting.
Muting.
Uding.
Uding. You.
Uding.
Like team.
You. Ting.
Euting.
You'd be U-ting. Yeah.
Alex Euting from the company. Did I say it wrong? Euting.
I gotta love it. Can this all stay in?
This is why they don't put me on anything, because nobody can get it right.
You. Team.
Muting.
So we have Cameron Burns and Alex Euting. Yay, we did it right. Their
Yeah,
production
right.
company behind Cameron Obscura, The Pale Door, Scare Package 1 and 2, The Old Man, upcoming Shelby Oaks, and a new hit series on Syfy called Revival. Very good show. So you don't want to miss this, so stay tuned. All right.
All right, be serious.
I know, just be real.
Head in the game, everybody. Head in the game. We're talking about horror comedy, and you cannot joke around as it pertains to horror comedy.
No.
No, if anyone's laughing, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, right?
That's
right.
the Paper Street model. If people are laughing, you're doing it
You're doing it
wrong.
wrong.
If you're having a good time, you're not working hard.
It's
Right,
not.
right.
That's what Aaron would say if he was here.
That is what he would
So.
say.
That's right. All right. And welcome back. My name's Chris, the independent filmmaker, and this is
I'm-
Jess.
Yeah, I'm just the non-independent
Independent.
filmmaker.
Are you a
And-
studio filmmaker, Jess?
No.
No,
okay,
not
well
a
then.
filmmaker at all.
No.
Oh, yet.
I'm currently writing my first script, and
And you're a filmmaker. You're a filmmaker.
and
Yeah.
he's a filmmaker, and I don't know what I am anymore.
So, like I said at the top of the show, we have Cameron and Alex. So, welcome to the show. Thank you for graciously joining us this evening. We do
Hi there.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
I just wanted to say how I kind of met. So Cameron, I just met Alex, but I wanted to say how I met Cameron. We were at last year's Origins
Mhm.
out in Tucson, and I met him through a friend, which we'll talk about later when we talk about some of the movies that they've made. And we had been out one night, and maybe a couple drinks were involved, maybe not. And it was the last night I was going to be there, and I reached out my hand to say, nice to meet you. It was great hanging out with you. And he goes, no. We're friends now. We hug.
Aw.
And that stuck with me. I know we've been joking around here and everything. But I think in this business and everything where it's like people like network. And I'm like, it was just good to meet some friends that have stuff in common. And whether we work together or not, it was just great to meet people like that and friends that will be friends, some friendship from now on. And you've proven that now tonight too, is you're like, I texted you to come on and you're like, absolutely, I'll be right there. So, and I know everybody's busy and I see, everything you guys have been doing and you're super busy. So we really appreciate you taking the time out. And that meant a lot to me when you did that
Well, I
night.
appreciate that. It was mostly the alcohol talking, if I'm being honest. But you're an excellent hugger, as I recall. No, I like.
Right. See,
You
right.
know, it's supposed to be fun, right? Like sometimes the work is hard. So like when you're at a film festival and you're having a good time and you're drinking and you're watching cool movies and you're meeting people, like that's the fun part. Like have some fun. Like it doesn't
Well,
have
that's
to
good.
always be business.
Right. That's good. And I mean, it seemed like you were having fun and it wasn't like an obligation to be there, right? You enjoyed going to those things and meeting
100%.
people.
Film festivals are the absolute best part of making movies. So
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I enjoy a lot of it, but like going to film festivals and like getting to meet other filmmakers and getting to watch cool movies and so like that's the lifeblood of it, man. Like
Right.
that's the good stuff.
Absolutely. So, Cameron, you started at Full Sail. You're from Orlando, correct?
Correct. Yes. Born and raised in Orlando, lived there till I was about 25, 26, something like that.
And
Yeah.
I think where'd you go to high school?
I went to Boone High School.
No way.
Because she went to Boone as well. So
I went
Oh, I'm about to let you know how much older I am than everyone else. But
Okay.
I graduated in 1998 from Boone High School. So
I went 07.
yeah, see, you're babies. Everybody else here is babies. Yeah, I grew up in Orlando, lived there for a long time. Went to Valencia Community College first, and kind of bounced around there and majored in drinking for about 2 years, and
Yeah, I do too.
then decided, and I basically just started dropping all my non-film related classes, and I was like, maybe this is a sign that I should only do film related classes. And so that's how I ended up at Full Sail.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that where you met Aaron at? It was in Full Sail?
Uh,
Or do you know before?
Actually, no. So he had gone to Full Sail about, I think he was 6 months before me. I think we're the same age, but he had been a little bit before me. And he and I both kind of bounced around Orlando after film school, making just doing gig work on stuff. At the time, Orlando was kind of, it was supposed to be the next the
Right.
next LA. It was going to be
Yeah.
like the what Atlanta became. There was high hopes
Right.
Orlando would be, and like Universal had the studios there, and they shot at Monster and Too Fast Too Furious from Earth to the Moon, like all this stuff. Punisher Warzone was shooting there, and like I did a bunch of golf tournaments, and like because Golf Channel's in Orlando, and
Right.
then they got rid of the tax incentives, and when you've got a student loan debt and all the stuff
Right.
dries up, you got to do something. So I get a job at Electronic Arts testing video games, and
Oh, wow.
that was actually where I met Aaron, who, similar story, had been doing gig work. That started to dry up, and he also got a job at Electronic Arts. So we both kind of left film in the same place, and then for
Gotcha.
15 years or so talked about getting back into it and never did.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
as you get fat and happy, and you're
Right.
making money, and it's not super soul crushing at first. And so so for the longest time we just kind of talked about it but never did.
Gotcha. And then, Alex, you went to, Washington State. Were you from Orlando, Florida, well, or are you from out
No,
there?
I'm from the Seattle area. I did go to Washington
Okay.
Ooh,
State. I
nice.
got a
Yeah, nice
master's
area.
in drinking, actually.
Another
Hey,
master.
Yeah.
it's true.
And then in 2010, I moved down to Austin and was starting to work on independent films around the area, and had bills to pay. So nobody wanted me to be a bartender around the area. So I went on Craigslist and found a job in the video game industry as well, testing. And then eventually that's when our paths crossed.
Yeah, so to catch you up to where we meet Alex, so like I said, Aaron and I just kind of bounced around working in tech for a while, and like he ended up getting a job basically starting a QA center in Austin for Zynga, who was making like Words with Friends and games like that. And he had moved to Austin to kind of build out this thing. And I had kind of moved back to Florida. I had been in Illinois for a couple of years. Had moved back to Florida, was having either a midlife crisis or a quarter life crisis, depending on when I die. And and I just kind of knew I didn't want to do tech anymore, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then Aaron just like calls me out of the blue, and he's like, "Dude, Austin is amazing. The film infrastructure here is amazing. You have to come here and make movies." And at first I was like, nah. And then eventually he kind of ground me down. And so I kind of moved to Austin, and he got me a job at Zynga. And lo and behold, there was another good looking guy named Alex Euting who was working there. And, when we moved there, Aaron and I were Aaron was like, look, I really want to do the film stuff. And so, he and I kind of talked about doing it, and it was just going to be us. And then I think I'll let Alex tell the story, but I think he and Alex had a road trip or something where he kind of indirectly found out Alex was a film guy, and the rest was kind of
Oh.
history.
Yeah,
Oh,
we were driving to San Antonio for like a WWE or a
right.
basketball thing for like an employee outing type of thing. And for like the hour and a half drive, I must have pitched like 2 or 3 super long movies. And then by the time we get back, Aaron's like, those don't totally suck. So the guys invited me to Buffalo Wild Wings to talk about really changing my entire career pathway, and we kind of went from there.
I mean, you've still gotten to use that master's in drinking every once in a while. It's not like we totally took you away from it.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
No, I
You don't want
use
that
it
to
all
go
the
to waste.
time.
degree.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of the genesis. We kind of met up there as the three of us and a guy named Shane Domrongchai, who was he's still a good friend to this day. But like for him, it was just kind of a lark. And then
Right.
lo and behold, as after a couple of years, and we were like making some headway, he was just like, yeah, it's a little too much like work, and it's not really what I want to do. So he kind of bowed out, and it was the three of us for a while, and then Sean Talley came involved, and then we just kind of little by
Yeah, 'cause
little, short film by short film, just kind of ground it out. until, you know, we got to
Because
make a
you've
feature.
grown your company now, because you have several people that work in your
Yeah, I
company.
think we're at, gosh, I think we have 8 or 9. I mean,
Oh, wow, good for you.
mostly myself, Aaron, and Alex are probably the only 3 that you would consider full time with Paper Street right now. But yeah, Chantal does all our podcast stuff and all our social stuff. We got a guy named Chris Ball, Ashley Sneed, who's produced a bunch of stuff with us.
I
Like,
see her name on a lot of this.
yeah, she does a bunch of stuff with us. Yeah, so we've kind of grown. Like Sean went to film school with Aaron, and they had known each other for a long time. And so when Paper Street started to gain some steam, like Aaron really wanted to bring him in, so we brought him in. And then Ashley was our production manager on Camera Obscura. She came on through another producer, and we really liked her, and so we kept her. And yeah, we've just kind of, and a guy named Chris Ball has recently come on. He's a Canadian producer, and same thing where we worked with him. I worked with him on a TV show in Canada and really liked working with him. So like, yeah, you know,
Right.
you got to grow it out slowly, but yeah, when you get people you like and that do great work, you want to keep them around because they're few and far
Absolutely.
between. So
It's hard to find good people too, like
it
somebody
really
you
is.
trust and you have the same collaborative ideas and you can
Yeah.
really like hone in and focus and create something amazing.
Yeah.
So
100%, 100%.
So with Paper Street, how does your company work? Because you guys were all have written stuff. So, and that's I feel like a lot of the early stuff. That's where you started. You wrote it, you directed, you produced it. Now you're up to you're doing a lot of producing and finding right IP already or scripts that you like. Is that how you're where you're at now in the company, kind of thing?
Alex, you wanna field that
You know,
one?
Do I? Oh,
not
you're in development,
necessarily.
Cameron. This is
I
your
mean,
world.
I feel like I'm talking more than you, and I don't like it. But yeah, I mean, basically, when we kind of started, it was very much like the four of us just kind of getting together and coming up with an idea for a short. It was all very democratic, and like Aaron and I did most of the writing, but Alex was very involved, especially story wise. Alex has like a just an insane mind for story. And sometimes it's crazy and sometimes it's too big for studio movies. But like
Sometimes it's expensive.
yeah, it's always expensive. But he's got a really good mind for that stuff. So like it kind of organically became a thing where like everyone was kind of helping out, but like Aaron and I would actually sit down and bang it out at the typewriter, and then he would direct. I don't think the plan was ever that he would direct and we would produce, but it just we kind of morphed into, we all kind of filled roles somewhat organically where I kind of fell into a lot of the writing and the development and the story structure stuff, and Alex kind of fell pretty seamlessly into the post-production stuff and the more technical stuff, and Aaron was doing the directing and some of the big picture stuff. And then when Ashley came involved, she would do a lot of the line producing and the money stuff, and everyone just kind of fell into a lane real easily.
Whatever
And
needed to be
so
done.
yeah, it just kind of worked that way. But early on it was really just like come up with ideas, shoot the thing, see what happens. And like it was kind of that way. We made we made a bunch of bad shorts, and then we made one that was actually pretty good called Honor Student, and that played the festival circuit and played some of the bigger fests. And then from there we were like, well, I guess. And also a bunch of us got laid off, which helped, ironically. But and we basically said, well, I guess now's the time to write a feature. And so we had this idea for Camera Obscura, which I think actually may have come from Alex originally. It was a short that didn't work as a short, and we kind of had to rethink it, and it ended up being a feature that we tried to get made for a couple of years, and then it came out, and the world collectively said, "So what?" And so we had to kind of go back to the drawing board, and like same thing where we were just like, "Well, I guess we'll come up with another idea and figure that out," and that's where we did Scare Package, and then Scare Package, much to everyone's surprise, was really popular, and that it was at that point where it was just like, well, I guess we should also like, we can't make one movie every 3 years. That's not really a sustainable
Right.
path.
Yeah.
So we have to start bringing in some outside projects and doing it that way. So it happened really organically.
Well, one of our earlier shorts was one called The El Chupacabra, which of course is Spanish for the chupacabra. And we had a really good time making that short. Like it was a horror comedy. We had a ton of fun. I was dressed up as the monster in that movie with horrible looking makeup.
Hold on, you gotta give the story. You gotta give the
Yeah, tell us the
one
story.
sentence
Yeah.
pitch because it's
Can't leave that out.
hilarious.
The one sentence pitch of what the El Chupacabra is about.
Yeah, just what's it about? What's the
A
story?
family of 3 adopt a seemingly normal pug, but when it eats marshmallows, which it says explicitly not to in the agreement that they sign, it turns into a ravenous monster and rips apart everybody at a family barbecue.
A chupacabra. Yeah.
It turns into a chupacabra, but it's a pug to start with. So this tiny little cute pug turns into me with a pug mask, and I kill all of the people.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
Anyway, so we had a lot of fun making that film. So when we started to dive into Scare Package, it was really fun to get back into the horror comedy of it all, because every time we talked about one of the shorts or something that we were doing, it was really good just to like spitball and brainstorm all of these humorous things to find out what was funny to all of us, because everything that we had done for the last 4 or 5 years was really serious. And I think we definitely have a better time, and it seems to be more success with horror comedies, or at least injecting comedy.
Right.
Yeah, I like to think we can do a little bit of everything, and we have, which I kind of enjoy. But I think I think our heart is in horror comedy, and I think it's the thing that comes most seamless to us, and I think it's where we've had our most success, truthfully, and like it's the thing we enjoy doing the most, and like. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun to do other stuff, but I think our brain always comes back to horror comedy, which is, a little tougher to get up and running sometimes, but like they are just the best time. I mean, the El Chupacabra that was a big movie for us in a couple different ways, not only just being that it kind of started the horror comedy train, because everything before that was like too serious for its own good,
Right.
but like we met a couple collaborators on that have stuck with us throughout, one of which being Andrew Barrett, our DP, who shot a bunch of different stuff. That was the very first thing we worked with him on. He was an Austin-based cinematographer who's gone on to shoot many of the things we've done, including the Scare Package movies, Shelby Oaks, a bunch of stuff. And then also, so kind of circling back to a guy that I'm sure we're going to talk about more, Aaron and myself, while we were still working at Electronic Arts in Orlando, helped a buddy produce a short film. And in that movie, we cast this really funny guy named Jeremy King. And we just had a great time with him on set, and he was just a fun dude. Fast forward, I don't know, 12, 15 years, we write the El Chupacabra, and we go, we don't know anyone in Austin, really. We've made like 2 shorts. We know no one in Austin. We're like, who can play this Padre role, the dad? That like, who do we think could play? I mean, now, having gone through the gamut in Austin, there's 5, 6 super funny guys that pop right to mind, but at the time we didn't know anybody. Right. And so Aaron was like, what about that Jeremy guy? Like he's like still friends with us on Facebook, and like he seems to be acting here and there in Tampa. I was like, all right, well, I guess I can ask him. I mean, we don't have any money, and like we're in Texas and he's in Florida. So I sent Jeremy this email where I'm like, hey, you may not remember me, but this is a thing we're doing, and if you're interested, we don't have any money, but we could fly you here, and you could hang out you could stay in one of our houses for free, and, make it a vacation or whatever. If not, no worries. So I get an email back like 2 days later, and it's like, first of all, how dare you? Do you not know who I am? I am a SAG actor with an agent. I don't just show up and work for free on short films. So there's like 4 paragraphs just like reading me the riot act. And then at the bottom, the last sentence just says, just kidding, when do you want me to show up? and then he showed up, and we just thought he was really funny. We just kind of let him do what he does. And like, lo and behold, we find out later that like he was thinking about quitting acting, and he wasn't really into it anymore. And like that kind of re-energized him. And then we just loved him and have worked with him, to this day. We've worked with him many, many times, and we'll work with him many, many more. But like, yeah, so that the El Chupacabra, for a lot of different reasons, really kind of crystallized kind of what we wanted to do and who we wanted to do it with.
Right.
Even though it's not good, really, other than the occasional funny Jeremy gag.
Right. And that's how I started talking to you, actually, is through Scare Package, because I've worked with Jeremy on a couple projects as an actor back in the day, and we stayed friends. Funny guy, as you know, and a great guy. And I just came across Scare Package and I was like,
I
holy
watched it today.
yeah.
Oh, for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
sorry. I
I
apologize.
hope you liked most of it.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Yeah, I hope you liked some of it. That's the great thing about anthologies, right? I hope you liked a
I
few
was
of them.
like, I was kind of doing something and watching it at the same time, and I'd look up and I'd get to a scene. I'm like, oh no. And then something came up and Chris is like, oh, you're not going to like this one. I was like, okay, I'm going to go do the laundry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something for everybody. Like anthologies are they're an interesting. You can do a whole podcast on just making anthologies, but
Yeah.
but yeah, we knew. But that was the thing. Like we made Camera Obscura, and for a lot of reasons, it just didn't do anything. I mean, we're very happy with how the film turned out. And,
I liked it. I thought it
oh,
was
thank
good.
you. And
That's cool.
but it didn't go anywhere. It didn't.
Right.
You know, we
Right.
thought, well, we're going to make this, and we kind of lucked into doing it with Universal, and we were like, well, I guess now we're going to make Conjuring sequels, right? And then
And that was your first feature, right?
that was our first. So like we tried to get a movie made for 3 years, and we just kept like
Oh my gosh.
failing upward. And like it started as $150,000 movie we were going to do just in Austin, and like you'd bring someone else in, and they'd add cachet, and the budget would go up, but no one would give you money for it. And that just kept happening over and over again. And then one of the producers, a guy named Andrew Vandenhouten, who was on the project, had worked with Chiller Films and Universal before, and they had a movie fall through and needed to fill a slot, and we had a movie and we're kind of ready to go. And that's kind of how that would happen. But then, you know, it just kind of didn't land, and it wasn't really pushed. It just got fell through the cracks. And so we were just like, well, I guess, you know, we'll figure something out. And we just kind of, at that point, figured out, well, we can get a little bit of money. Because what happened was we had some investors on Camera Obscura who didn't end up investing when Universal came in. So we gave them their money back. And so we went back to some of them and we're like, hey, we're thinking about making this like super small horror comedy anthology. If you're interested, you know. And then we were like, well, we've been on the festival circuit with these short filmmakers that are incredible, like, you know, Chris McEnroy and people like that. And so we were just like, well, we know those guys. Let's just make a horror comedy anthology. And we kind of knew early on we wanted to kind of build it around Jeremy and make him kind of the central focus of it, because we knew we had this guy who is just a star, and I still believe that. Like, I believe if Jeremy were to move to LA tomorrow, he'd be in studio movies. Like I think, and so we just kind of knew that he was the right guy to hang the movie on. And so went through a couple iterations, but you know, we ended up with what we ended up with, and like we were right, and that I think we all just kind of thought like 8 people in the world would find it funny because it's so niche. But 3 of them were me, Aaron, and Alex. And then shockingly, it found an audience on the festival circuit, and people really took to it, and Shudder.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, that was, you know.
And that was your biggest one.
Now we have dozens of fans.
Yeah, now you have dozens.
You do.
That's right.
It's true.
You got our
It's
fans
true.
now. Yeah, you had it. Yeah, other people on.
We're
So that was
always
your biggest.
bringing them in one at a time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you got to do that.
I feel like a bandwagoner though sometimes. I'm like, okay,
No, well, there's still plenty of space. There's plenty of space on our bandwagon if you want to join.
yeah. Listen, I'm all about it.
It's a big wagon, right?
It's a big wagon. A lot of open seats.
That's true.
Not open.
Well, I just filled a spot, so we're good.
Yes. So
Perfect.
obviously that was your biggest hit at that point in the production company, was Scare Package, because then you were able to go on to make the second one too.
Because we had a lot of fun with at festivals with that one. I mean, you guys took it overseas to Sigis. We did what's the Telluride horror show?
Yeah.
And then it came out on Shudder right when. Was it that? No, that was 2000. That wasn't before COVID, was it?
No, it was in the middle of COVID. So like the
No,
festival run
like
got
right
cut
when everyone
short.
was,
The festival run got cut
Right.
short after Panic Fest because COVID happened.
That's right. And everyone was stuck inside. And so luckily we were able to say to all these horror fans who jumped on Shudder, like, oh, check this out. And
Yeah.
Right.
got a lot of traction on
You're locked
there.
in your house. Watch.
Yeah, watch tons of movies.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
never
if we
know.
could just
Watch
keep
this.
locking people in their house, we would do so well.
Oh my gosh, that should
That's
be
an idea for a movie.
But yeah, it did really well. It did really well on Shudder. I think like we were lucky that we and we knew early on that we thought Shudder was where it should live. and but it really found its people on Shudder, and like I think there's a lot
High
of
fans, for fans, like it made sense to be on that platform because it's so specific to that.
and it premiered on Joe Bob, which obviously gave it a lot of street cred. But like,
Yeah,
He's huge. He was huge. So I mean, yeah.
yeah, it was like we got so lucky with him being in the movie because he's
Movie.
in Scare Package, he's in the movie,
Right.
and when we shot it, he didn't have the show. It didn't exist. It wasn't happening. Like it was in like very early discussions, I think. But Aaron, when we were writing it, we were just like, well, it was just kind of like blanket horror, like brain guy, like who's
Right.
a smart horror guy that can fill that role. And we kicked around different people, but like Aaron and I are both, early 40s, and Joe Bob was just that guy for us. Like we grew up on his shows, and
Oh yeah.
so yeah, we reached out, and he
said
agreed
yep.
to do it, and I think he fully expected it to be a piece of shit and not be any good. And it's funny, we when it premiered at Telluride Horror, I think it was this US premiere at Telluride Horror, Joe Bob was there because he was doing his Redneck Saved Hollywood tour, and so he was actually there and got to watch the movie for the first time when it played at Telluride Horror. And he comes up on stage, he's like, wow, it was actually pretty good. We're like, oh, thanks, Joe Bob. He's like, I had no idea it was going to be good. We were just like, oh, well, appreciate
He's like,
it,
I'm not embarrassed of it anymore.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, no, he was great. But yeah, we got that it ended up on his show, and he got the show and all that stuff while we were in post. Like that was all just kind of dumb luck. Like we got really fortunate, and I'm sure that didn't hurt it drawing an audience.
No.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Sorry.
Quit talking now.
Go ahead.
So when y'all look for new projects, like what are you looking for? Like if somebody brings you a script, says, hey, I want you to look it over. So what is it about it that makes you like want to go and produce it and make it? And
Yeah, Alex, you have an answer? Or you want me to take this one?
I'll jump in when I have a better formulated one.
Okay. Well, I get this one a lot because I'm the director of development, so like that is kind of my thing.
Yeah,
and like,
you're feeling that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're always looking for reasons not to make movies, which is like it's hard, and there's only a finite amount we can do, and like you're putting 2-3 years of your life into this thing, and like everything kind of has to work out, but like it needs to be one of a couple things. It needs to be a filmmaker that we're really excited to work with. It needs to be a concept that we really love, and it needs to be fresh. Like we don't. Like there's like a lot of places will like I always get emails where people ask like what our directives are. I'm just like, we don't have directives. Like I want to read a script and go, wow, I don't think I've ever seen that before. That is so cool and new and interesting. And like that is super rare. Like for the thousands and thousands and thousands of scripts we get or have gotten from the beginning of this thing, we've probably recommended 15. Like it is very hard to find really, really great writing. You can find like competently written scripts, but the story's kind of done before, or like there's a million it's very rare to just be blown away by like a new interesting idea. And like that's like the thing you're constantly chasing. Like that's the drug. And like
I feel like
it kind of needs it kind of needs that. You need to be really excited about it. You need to be really excited about the filmmaker or the script or something that just like really gets its hooks into you. Because making movies are really hard, and so it's very hard to make stuff that your heart's not in.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how, like, I think that's a big conversation Chris and I have a lot too. Is when he starts writing scripts, or I'm writing one right now. It's like we start bouncing ideas off of each other, and we're like, okay, but it's got to be different. What is it about your script that makes it different from every other thing out there? And like I totally agree with you, not being really much in this world, but now that I'm a little more immersed into it, it's like, oh, that's been done before, but how are you going to do it differently now?
And I think horror fans who I love, and I'm a rabid horror fan.
Yeah.
Horror fans specifically fall into that problem where they just regurgitate the things they like. Like you can't just Halloween's already happened. You just can't write Halloween. You just can't write like if I had $1 for every generic haunted house movie script that we get, I could retire and not make any more movies. Or I could fund one of Alex's crazy ideas. Like it's just like it has to be. It just can't feel done before. Like if it's already a thing that exists, why bother making it?
Yeah, I agree. Especially being like, because when we do like reviews on movies, I'm like, you can't catch my attention within the first 10 minutes or it's not a unique concept. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm ready to go now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
those first 10 pages, 15 pages are really
Yeah.
critical. And
mhm.
then
Yeah.
if we're reading it and we can start to predict where things are going to go, it gets really boring. But
Yeah.
then I love it when people inject their own like personality into the scripts too. So we're working again with a filmmaker named Alex Bretto, and her script that we're reading, I don't know if we can say the title or not. Her new script that we're going to be working on soon was hysterical because it had so much of her personality in it too. Where it was, and she had a little thing that was like, every time this is said, you have to drink a beer. So she put a drinking game into her script, which was so much fun for me. But like, and so I participated. I was like, this is a wonderful, wonderful
You're like,
read.
I'm gonna get a
On
drink.
top of it already being an incredible script. So
Right.
there's things like that you can do that really make it stand out among the crowd. But like just having that originality and voice and personality is really really hard to do, but when you can pull it off, it's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
think Scare Package has been a really good like kind of jumping off point for that because you get these people that you think are talented filmmakers and you're like, do weird stuff, like make a weird segment. And like we've seen this over and over again where we've now done a feature with Emily Haggins, who did a segment in Scare Package 1. We've done a feature with Noah Segan, who did a segment in Scare Package 1. Alex Barretto, who he's talking about, did a segment in Scare Package 2, and we're doing a feature with. And it's like when you get like you can see people's voice when you're not saying like, here, make a feature that may cost $1 million and you have to get funded. If you just say like, we've got the money, write something wacky and let's make it, you start to see people's true colors come out in a way that you don't always get
Right.
when you start raising the stakes on features. And so we've been really lucky to work with some really good filmmakers, but then also say like, yeah, do that. Like give us the feature of that. Like we've had really good fortune with that.
Right. But
That's
I think
awesome.
that really hits home. Like you really have, because you're living with it for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. So you have to really love it that much to live with it that
Mhm.
long. And coming from you that bring in filmmakers and writers or directors and stuff like that, it's interesting to hear because it's always from my side. I'm like, oh, I'm making something because I love it because I'm making it and it's mine. But for you, bringing people in and working with them, you have to love their idea and it has
Mhm.
to be good because you're going to be
Yeah.
producing it.
It's
So
like it's their
it's
baby that they're bringing to you. So,
as long as you love it, then
yeah.
I can
And
see that.
you have to convince other people to love it too.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not a matter of just us loving it. It's like you
Yeah.
have to
Everybody.
convince
Yeah.
people to fund it. You have to convince people to act in it. You have to convince like you have to. It has to. Yeah, it has
Yeah.
to be a thing that
It's
people
like
can get behind. And like
what is drawing
Right.
everybody into,
yeah,
what you've created, your
everybody
film.
loves their own script. So it's
Oh, of
like
course.
it's one of
That's
those things where you have to like you just have to have something that hooks people, something
yeah.
that gets people excited. And it doesn't always, you know, we pass on plenty of very well written paint by number scripts, but it doesn't have to be the best script. Like I think the key to development is like any idiot can read a script and go, this is good, this is bad. The trick is this isn't good, but holy crap, what a cool idea. And if you did it this way,
Right.
if you
Mhm.
tweaked it and flipped it on its head, well, then it could be great.
Right.
Like
Yeah, it's
anybody
like
can
the
say
concept.
bad idea, pass. But
Right.
like I've never seen this idea before, and like yeah, it's wrapped around a bad script, but if we fix the script and keep the idea, then wow, we're off and running. And so
Right.
to me, having an interesting idea and fresh take on something is a lot harder than just being able to, you know, write
Right.
a decent script.
Yeah. It's that
Mhm.
cool, good idea that you execute well.
Mhm.
That's
But
the
I think you find the idea, you can develop it and execute well. I don't
yes.
think it works the other way. It does.
No.
If you write the same haunted house movie that 100 people have already made,
Yeah.
you can write that. Shakespeare could write it, and it's still just going to feel like a done before haunted house movie.
Right.
You
So
Absolutely.
I'll
can't
scratch
like
off
you
Haunted
can't.
House.
Yeah, and I pick on haunted house movies because they're to me they're
I'm
like the
not writing
most
No.
a
No. No.
haunted
Yeah.
house. I'm kidding.
they're the most played out subgenre, but there are still, I say that there are still plenty of awesome haunted house movies that are like bucking convention and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
it's just the thing that I always think of because it's probably the thing we get the most of is haunted house.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Really? The most is the haunted house ones?
Yeah,
Oh,
shocking.
We
I
get
would,
that
that's
and
interesting.
slashers. We get a
Oh,
lot
And
of
slasher,
slashers.
those.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves a slasher, right? So, and you guys have been in the business a long time. Have you seen it change from when you started to now, what people want? And because horror is huge now, it seems like every other day there's a horror movie, especially mainstream. It's coming
Oh my
out,
gosh, there's
uh,
tons.
uh, in the theaters now, even. So,
I think it
uh,
always ebbs and flows. I mean, I don't think I mean, the industry changes a lot, has changed a lot since we started doing it. I mean, we came in during like the peak streaming where the streamers were just tripping over each other to buy content, and like now it's gone the exact opposite direction, and we're waiting to see
We've
kind of
seen both ends.
yeah. So now we're waiting to see kind of where that's going to go. But as far as like horror specifically, I like stuff comes and goes. I think horror comedy's gotten harder and harder to get off the ground lately. Hopefully that
yeah, I
switches
think
back
it's
soon. I think I mean, we lived through the super serious trauma as the killer horror thing where like everything's about trauma and trauma is chasing it. Like that's a thing that I think people that got really big, especially around COVID, and now people are kind of done with. And I think people want slightly less serious stuff again. So
right.
we'll see if that goes all the way to like horror comedy. But I think like, yeah, there was a while where like the trauma porn style
Oh.
horror stuff was
Right.
all the rage, and like
Yeah.
the killer is this person's grief, or you know what I mean, like
Right.
it's
Mhm.
all like metaphor, and like I got so tired of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to make that fun.
Well, it's not
Like,
fun. That's the whole
It's
thing.
not fun. Yeah. It's not,
Yeah, like
it's
you
just
can't
not.
make
It's
it
just
fun.
not
not
fun.
fun. And so you come to these movies and you have so many of them, and you're
Yeah.
like waiting to have a good time again, and it just
Mhm.
never happens. You know.
Right.
Well, I think you can
Um,
make a movie can be fun without being unserious, and I think that's
Yeah.
kind of the difference. It's like you don't, it doesn't have to be wacky to be fun. It
Right.
just
right.
True. True.
has to not take itself very, very seriously, which is
True.
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that I struggle with. And like early on there was some good stuff, and I mean there are great horror movies that are about that, but like in general, it's hard for me to get excited for an hour and a half of just like sadness.
Sadness. Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then horror comedy is so hard to get. It's so niche down, and I know
I don't
I
know
saw.
why. I mean, like that's you can do a whole podcast about this, but like horror
Yeah.
comedy is like horror
Write that
comedy
down.
is
Write that down.
popular, and well, you guys do it. Well, yeah. I mean we the royal we could do a whole podcast about this. It's
Yeah. The
yeah. I don't
collective.
know why people. I mean, I horror comedy has kind of consistently worked for as long as I've been watching horror. I think there's plenty of bad execution, but there's bad execution in every single kind
Every
of
genre.
Oh,
like.
Yeah.
There's plenty of. I think the problem horror comedy has is you have to be able to. It has to work. If you stripped out all the comedy, it should work as a horror movie, and if you stripped out all the horror, it should work as a
Correct. Yes.
comedy.
Yeah.
And if you're trying, you can't try to. A lot of movies that don't work try to do both and end up doing neither.
Right.
And you have to kind of. It has to function as both things. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it has to be real. The scares have to be real, and the comedy has to be
Yes.
real. And like,
Yeah.
if you go way too far one direction, I think you end up
They're
getting
gonna
into
go.
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you start losing your audience too, I feel like.
But I
is just
really,
like,
yes, 100%. But I really do hope horror comedy comes back because we've got a
I do
couple.
too. I do
We've got a
too.
couple of bangers in the chamber, just
Okay.
waiting for a check to make. We've got a couple horror comedies that are a blast.
Are they hard to get financed?
They
Mhm.
are,
Yeah.
especially as the budgets grow. Like you
Yeah.
can do them, and I think you're seeing a lot of like
As long
Steve
as your budget's
Kostansky
low.
makes a bunch of hilarious ones now with like Frankie Freako and Psycho Gorman, but he's doing those at such
That's
like a
like
small
Gorman, yeah.
budget level. It's hard as the budget level rises unless you get like big stars involved. It's
Right.
it's difficult to get horror comedy kind of off the ground.
Yeah, I know. I saw an
That's
interview with Eli Craig, and he said it's the hardest
Yeah,
thing.
Clown in a
To do.
Cornfield had the same problem,
Yeah.
even though it's not really a comedy.
Really? Yeah.
But
I know. Tucker. I love Tucker and Dale. Or Steve.
God, that's
Classic.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Classic.
Classic. So, what is one of your most proud of accomplishments throughout either one of you throughout Paper Street Productions or yourselves in this business?
I think one of my favorites was when I got the phone call that we got Scare Package 2 greenlit, because it actually puts so much validation behind the first one.
Aw.
Because I was driving across the country and I was like, babe, we got our sequel greenlit for like $200,000. But like,
But
that
hey,
was a
it's
really,
green
really
lit.
good feeling. Yeah, like Scare Packages are baby. Like we have all these other movies that we're doing, and we obviously care about all of those. But like this was the one that got us all back together, working together, and really focusing on like this dream of what Paper Street's doing. Right.
I feel like that's the only ones we would do for free. Like we would put our own.
Free.
This is the only one we put our own money into and just keep making just because we want to make them.
Oh,
well, that's the thing. It's like you're almost like, yes,
the third
we can
one
work
might be
together again, right?
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring the gang back together.
Yeah, that's what it feels. That's what it always feels like. It's always known people. We get the gang back together, and so like doing the second one after like the success big quotes for all of you who are watching it at home of the first one, that was a really, really validating thing, and it was exciting to go through all of that, knowing how much work those movies are. Going through it all again was really exciting because we got to look forward to treating that whole audience again, because they were so receptive to the first one, and they were just so kind at every festival. And we'd watch the like Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and during those showings, during live streamings, they're always having a good time. So getting able to do that again was something really fun to look forward to.
Yeah, that's definitely up there. It's funny, like they kind of it's like snowball. They like snowball on you. It's just like with every passing thing, like as you're kind of, as our profile kind of rises, as to the extent it has, as our profile kind of rises, you get more and more like stuff that you're just like, wow, this is insane. Like if you'd have asked me 20 years ago, like I would have lost my mind. Like we had the Artifice Girl, which is a movie that Aaron and Ashley had a lot more to do with than we did, Alex and myself. I mean, we did a little bit, and I'm a co-producer on the film, but like that was nominated for an Independent Spirit Award. And like, that's insane. Cool. If you'd asked me 20 years ago, like, would we be nominated for an Independent Spirit Award? I'd have been like, no, you spelled Razzie wrong. But like that was insane. And then I think the big one, and like I say, it kind of spirals upwards. So every like new thing feels bigger than the last thing. But like having Neon by Shelby Oaks was just an incredibly gratifying thing. I mean, you're talking about the company that made Parasite and Anora and Long Legs, and like
one can like every
wins can every year. Like that we have a movie now set up with Neon that's going to play in theaters is like, and also that's the other part of it is that the movie's going to play in theaters like more than 5 or 6.
Yeah,
like
great job. Congratulations.
Like that. Thank you. That is probably the most gratifying because that feels like the cherry on top of like 15 years of work, and all those other that wouldn't have happened without the Scare Package 2 stuff and without like everything kind of crescendoed to that. So then, and also it's the most recent, but like, yeah, I mean, I think that was such an out of body experience when that happened. We were just like, holy, they just won an eye. Like I was on set with the guys from Neon the day after Anora won an Oscar. Like they were showing up hungover to our set because they were at an after party because Anora won an Oscar. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like that, what world am I living in?
Who would have thought? Ever.
Yeah. So but it's, I mean, every movie is kind of its own unique snowflake, and I'm excited about all of them. And I don't think, we don't get, this without that. We don't get Shelby Oaks without all that stuff that came before. So
how did you end up with that? I found that very interesting because Chris Stuckman is huge on YouTube, and he's a film critic and over 2 million followers. And I know he wanted to become a filmmaker. So it was interesting that you guys were able to get involved in that project.
Yeah, he met Aaron at Fantastic Fest and pitched him. They just kind of hung out, and Chris pitched Aaron on a different project. It was like a bigger budget thing, and which we read and we really liked, but we're like, we don't have the resources for this because one of the things we kind of pride ourselves on is like when a lot of people talk about making movies, but they don't actually really get around to making movies. like we kind of decided early on that we're going to actually get these movies made, and if that means we're not sitting around for 5 years trying to get $5 million, we're just going to get 700,000 and figure it out. That's what we'll do. And so we kind of said, like, look, this cool idea, but like, I don't think we can make this thing right now. And so he kind of pitched this other idea that had like a kernel of an idea that we kind of developed with him a little bit, and like, but was like a really cool smaller thing that ultimately kind of became Shelby Oaks. And but yeah, he and Aaron just kind of sat down
That's
and
interesting.
it
Yeah.
kind of paced it back and forth. Then we met with him a few times, really liked him and really liked the idea, and then kind of
Yeah.
brought him on board and tried to get that funded for a long time. And only then did we decide to do the Kickstarter route. And then that
Yeah,
broke a
and that
bunch of
was one of the
records
biggest
and
Kickstarters, right? For
biggest horror Kickstarter ever. And I think it's like
Yeah.
4th behind the Spike Lee movie, the Zach Braff movie, and Veronica Mars, which is,
That's
again, one of those weird things
weird thing I know,
that
right?
if you'd have told me 20 years ago, I'd have been like, how drunk are you?
I know,
It's
right?
fun company.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how that came to be. That's how Chris ended up kind of in our orbit.
Yeah, and then Neon came on, and you were able to do the reshoots to pump
Yeah,
it
so
up, I
they
guess.
bought, so Neon bought it. Yeah, they bought the film before it ever played a festival, and then we played a couple
Wow.
festivals.
Holy cow.
And then
Well, great job.
Neon, basically, we kind of pulled it from the festival circuit, and Neon said, you know, what if we do a couple days of reshoots and really kind of
Right.
amp up some of the gore and the violence and some of the cool shit. And we were like, yeah, that would be awesome. So yeah, that's how that came to be. But they
More
Can't
money.
turn that down.
Yeah.
yeah,
Why
that was a
not?
new one for us. We're like, wait, we get to fix our screw ups? That's crazy. Like, who
You guys
knew?
will let us do that, really?
Yeah,
You're
right.
gonna give us more money? Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
great.
was.
So congratulations on that.
Yes.
That's really
Thank
great
you.
job.
Thank you.
And then
Thank you.
your company's working with that has the Syfy show out, Revival, that's
Revival.
out.
Which we are currently
We are
watching.
currently watching now, which we love, which we're actually gonna do a review on that once it's
Thank
finished
you.
up too. Yeah, of course. We're really loving the show. So
Mhm.
and that comes from that's a comic book, right? That was a comic
Yes.
book, right? Correct. So
Yeah, so
you're
that
actually looking
one,
for IP too to bring on as well.
yeah, well, that one kind of happened real. So that kind of goes back to the whole like the enemy of good, like perfection being the enemy of good. And like instead of just sitting around making offers and trying to make a $5 million movie, we just make movies. So during COVID, we met a filmmaker named Luke Boyce who had a script that he had written with Tim Seeley, like they were friendly. And we liked the script and we kind of helped get it made during COVID. And then it came out. It's on Shudder. It's called Revealer. It's a really cool movie if you get a chance to check it out. But then
Yes.
after that, Tim Seeley kind of was like, "This is crazy. You guys just like said you were going to make the movie, and then you just made the movie." And we were like, "Yeah, that's kind of our thing." And
Right.
he was like, "I've had so many projects in development hell for decades, and now
Right.
he's, you know, Hackslash has been long since been in purgatory and development hell and legal battles, and that's kind of his big thing that he's known for. And but he also had this other comic called Revival that had been pretty popular, and he had just gotten the rights back to, and he was like, well, if we could we make Revival with you guys, because we've been trying to get it made, but I've had such bad experiences with these studios and these big, like, could we do that? And we were just like, I mean, yeah, we don't have any idea how TV works, but
Right.
sure, I guess we can figure it out. So yeah, he kind of gave us the option, and then Aaron and Luke kind of went out and started pitching it and
Okay,
started
yeah.
kind of learning TV, and through about 3 years process, we, you know,
Wow.
ended up getting it made, and then yeah, now it's just coming. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and we've learned a lot about television, but
I was gonna say you had to learn a whole nother monster there. How to
TV's a
tell.
whole different animal, man. Like this is our
Yeah.
second. We did a small show in Canada called Tales from the Void before
Tales
it,
from the
and
Void,
like
yeah. Yeah.
which I was on set for, and like it's very everything about TV is very different and very amplified, and so it's a
Would you
learning
say
process for
harder?
sure. I
Or
mean,
just a
it can
different
be.
feel?
It definitely can be. There's you have more hands in the cookie jar like at the same time, and you've got more going on at the same time. It's like shooting 2 or 3 movies at the same time. Like Tales from the Void, which was a smaller thing, we were shooting episodes at the same time we were prepping the next episodes, and so like
Oh.
department heads are bouncing from set to location scouts and back to set, and like It's
Wow.
it's pretty wild, and the bigger the show gets, the more moving parts it gets, and so
Just fast, huh?
it's fast. It's the degree of difficulty is definitely higher.
Wow.
Well, we're loving the show. So
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
great
I
job
can't
on you
take
guys.
too much credit for any of it. It's mostly Aaron and Luke, and those guys have done a great job. But
all right. So if you could give one piece of advice to someone starting their creative journey, what would it be? We love asking this question. There's actually a couple questions we like asking. This is one of them.
Alex, I have my answer. Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
I as
I give
someone
bad advice.
as I've gotten this question before.
No.
So as someone who struggles with procrastination, although I'm getting better, don't be a silo. Don't do it. Don't work by yourself. Surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with smart people. Surround yourself with people who will hold you accountable. Surround yourself with people who, when you don't turn something in on time, give you shit about it. Like if I had to write a script and no one was there to hold me accountable, I will never finish that script. Full stop.
Oh,
But if I have to write a script and Aaron's expecting it on Monday because we have to send it to someone and Alex is only able to read it on Wednesday, suddenly I'm going to get that thing done on Monday because I don't want to hear it. And but I think that works for everything. I think a lot of times young filmmakers and new filmmakers are afraid of looking dumb. And so they don't bring other people in and they try to do everything themselves. And I think I don't know if it's because we worked in tech for longer and we're older when we started and didn't give a shit about looking dumb, still don't. But my thing was always, if I look around a set and I feel like I'm the least competent person on that set, we're in business.
Yeah.
We're in business. And I think a lot of times filmmakers try to do everything in a silo for fear of looking dumb in front of professionals. And I
Right.
think that you're never going to get anywhere that way. You have to, filmmaking's a team sport.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's the first
You
one.
have to really. Sorry, I cut you off there, Jeff.
No,
No,
go ahead.
you're
Go
good,
ahead,
you're good.
Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's way better than any advice I would give.
It's true. That was my goal. That was my main goal, is to be better than Alex.
Because I'd say something really stupid, and you'd be like, "Actually, this
Just
is
say
what
ditto.
you should be
I
doing."
agree.
But he's spot on. Like not being afraid to put yourself out there and ask for help and get feedback and respond to that feedback and not be offended by it. It's going to help you become much more comfortable going out and seeking that type of stuff versus worrying about criticism or worrying about somebody being like, "Oh, this person's an idiot." We're all just
Right. We're all.
apes trying to make it in this world. Like, it's ridiculous to think that there's these people. Everyone out there that's in the industry is smarter or better than you. We're finding out that a lot of us are all the same. We're all just trying to get it done together,
Right.
So yeah, just really holding yourself accountable and holding your friends accountable. I think that's a good one because Cameron's spot on. I wouldn't get anything done if I didn't have Cameron.
Daily text with just arrows pointing up to the thing you didn't respond to.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good too because you guys have each other, right? It's like
100%.
you can't do it by yourself. It's like you need each other to
100%. And
accomplish that.
the reason I had that answer kind of in the chamber is because it's a thing I've been asked. It's an answer first and foremost that I give occasionally when talking about writing. And my thing with writing is always, for the longest time, I could not make myself finish a script. But when I started writing with Aaron, we've written 15 scripts. And it's because it's not because I've gotten any smarter or better at writing. It's just that you need that person to keep you moving. Otherwise, you're just going to find a reason to quit. And you just have to keep soldiering on. And some people are just born to where they start something and they don't quit. But getting through a script specifically, but filmmaking is kind of the same way, is not easy. You hit the middle and you don't know where it's going, and you think of another idea that's cooler and you quit and start something else, rinse and repeat forever. And so you need someone who's going to be like, no, you can't quit, keep at it.
Mhm.
You know, you're holding us hostage. And I think that has been the biggest thing for me. Like I would have never gotten where I am if not for having Alex and Aaron and Ashley and all those guys, you know.
Well, Aaron and I, and you to an extent, Cameron, we come from like tech industry, but like our jobs there, besides like once we're done with QA, which is quality assurance testing, and anyone
Right.
doesn't know, we were in project management and program management, and a lot of that is organizing time and budget to get something done, but
Mhm.
also when things get stuck, finding ways to get it unstuck and get things moving again. Even if people are uncomfortable or whatever, you break that down and give them either smaller milestones and goals to go after that feel a little more attainable, just to get that whole train moving again.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, if you're good at moving
Otherwise,
roadblocks, then yeah.
yeah, like you just want to, even if it's small steps, you want to find a path forward towards that ultimate goal and not just like sit and spin your wheels. Or else you just won't ever get anything done unless you are one of those incredible self starters, which I'm not. Cameron isn't. So,
They're the worst. Like you meet these people and you're just like, I hate you immediately. Like
Oh, no.
self-starters and self-motivated people who just do it to do it, like are just the worst.
yeah, like, look what I did. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, cool.
Oh,
I'm
right.
trying to survive.
Cheers! I'm drinking my beer. Well, I have another one that I don't know if it's the same kind of, but it's just one that we like to ask since we're independent film. We promote independent film a lot, and that's what we want our listeners to just feel like they're not alone like
Yeah.
that. So we appreciate that answer. But the other question is, like me, sometimes I have that imposter syndrome, that kind of thing. Are there any securities that you have when it comes to the creative field that you have to fight through to
Like overcome. Like,
overcome?
yeah.
Oh man, imposter syndrome is very real. I mean, all of us already suffer from anxiety anyway, right? So,
Yeah, yes,
we're,
yeah, anxiety. Yeah,
the thing that I always tell people, and I'm not afraid to say it, like I'm a fake it till you make it kind of person, but you got to make it. So like you have to really work hard to get to that point. And as long as you do that, you're not a failure. You're not whatever. You're just learning along the way, like anyone would when they join a job, and the new person in town, they have to figure out how to navigate this new role or new world or whatever. It's okay to be in like a little bit of ambiguity and insecurity, and as long as you keep at the learning process in your new role or whatever goals you're going after, you'll do better. And it's okay if you fail at something, like you just try again.
And I feel like that's what
um,
you learn is like you're gonna fail along the way,
oh,
but now you learn from what your failures or mistakes were, and it's like, okay, let me not repeat that now.
100%. I've made a shitload of mistakes.
It's true, he has.
right.
But
I'm not
I
afraid to
try
admit it.
my damnedest not to make those again. So like every time we have to work on a movie, it gets a little bit better. Especially I work in post production. It gets a little bit better, a little bit easier, a little bit more organized, and then you recognize those pitfalls before they happen again. And
That's
suddenly
the
you look like
that's
a
the
hero.
thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, so I was after Shelby Oaks, I went on to a set, and they were just like 2 days. Like, because we were on Shelby Oaks, I wasn't there for all of prep. They were like 3 days before shooting, and I got there, and I was like, "All right, get me up to speed. What's going on?" And they're getting me up to speed and everything, and I'm just like, "Yeesh, you guys are in trouble. I like."
Oh,
You got a
Oh,
problem here, you got a problem here, you got a problem, this is going to be a problem, that's going to be a problem. And then they're like, no, I think we're going to be fine. I'm just like, all right, but we'll see. And so most all of those things came true.
sure that you
And
said.
like by like day 7, so like one of the people comes up to me like they're like, you're like a soothsayer. How did you know all this stuff was coming? I was like, oh no, I'm not any good at producing. I've made every single one of those mistakes on a movie called Pale Door, which was a complete shit show. And now I know these problems, not because I'm some sort of genius who sees it in his head before it happens, because I look at it and go, oh, we've made every single one of these mistakes before. And like, good producing is just not making that mistake again. And eventually you'll run out of mistakes to make, and or there will be less. But yeah, everyone is just, everyone's just trying to figure it out. There's no perfect way to do it. And yeah, you show up, you screw up, and you go, "Oh God, better not do that again." And then when
Yeah.
you see it happening, you can go, "Guys, I got a bad feeling we're doing that thing again." And everyone goes, "Oh shit, we better fix that real quick." And then stuff starts to look more seamless, not because you're any smarter than you were 10 years ago. You just have like that muscle memory and that,
Right.
the scar from the last time. And like
Yeah, you just have your
that,
past experiences.
So it's
yeah,
almost like
100%.
at like every
Back to
level,
trauma.
everybody's trying to
Yeah.
figure it out, right? Kind of that.
100%. Everyone's trying to figure it out. Everyone has
Um,
imposter syndrome. Everybody has anxiety. Like, why are we, it's genius level filmmakers have imposter syndrome. I mean, I listen to script notes all the time, and Craig
I listen to that
Mazin, who
podcast too.
writes Last of Us and freaking
Yeah.
Chernobyl, has like super bad imposter syndrome. And I'm like, I will
Yeah.
never write anything half as good
Right.
as some of the stuff he's written. And if he
Right.
doesn't think he knows what he's doing, then like
I know,
what
right?
chance do any of us have?
Right. It's that, like you said that earlier, they're like failing upward. So it's like you're continually failing upward.
Well, I mean, he wrote some terrible movies. Go back and look at his filmography. Like, not that
Yeah.
I try not to shit on movies, but he wrote some stuff that is inherently
Respectable.
not good. So, like, yeah, continue to hone your craft, continue to do your thing, and like, stuff gets better. I mean, if you look at the early short films we made, they were garbage.
Right.
And like, it's a combination of us getting better and us getting smart enough to bring on people like Andrew Baird, who shot Shelby Oaks for us, and Alex Cuervo, who's a composer on Revival, and like meeting them in Austin and being like, "Oh, you guys are really great. Let's make more stuff together." Like, you find your film team and keep those people, because that's like the rising tide raises all boats
Yeah,
kind of thing.
absolutely. Absolutely. So what's next for you guys? What's coming up that you can talk about, or
Yeah.
what's going on in Paper Street production?
Cameron development. What
Well,
can we
I
talk
mean,
about?
That's
none of that stuff. I mean, I will say there's, we talked a little bit about it, but Shelby Oaks is coming out in theaters on October 3rd, which is going to be a huge thing for us. It's our first kind of
That's
big
awesome.
theatrical release.
Yeah, we love
Revival is on Syfy and Peacock right now. You should check that out. Those are really cool. We just recently, in the last couple of weeks, announced kind of the next two movies behind that. We're working with Emily Bennett and Justin Brooks, who are making their second feature. They made a movie called Alone with You that's on Shudder and did really well on the festival circuit. They did a movie called Bloodshine, which is about to premiere at Popcorn Frights and Play Fright Fest and a few other festivals. Cool. And then we also have a movie called Remote that we did with an Austin filmmaker and a friend named Steven DeGanero. And that we made with Adrian Palicki. It's about a woman who has health problems and is stuck in a trailer and sees a murder on a webcam.
Oh.
And in trying to solve it, puts herself in the crosshairs
Oh.
of what's going on. So it's kind of like a contained thriller. But we've
Oh,
got
yeah.
those
Yeah.
two coming behind, and then we've got, one of the cool things about where we've been able to get to and where we're at now is like we have so many irons in the fire and so many cool projects. Like, I have a Trello board full of like amazing projects in development or in pre-production, none of which that I can really talk about now, sadly.
No.
Oh, it's
of
But
course.
some, I mean, all of which, but we're really excited about, but some that we're like very excited about, like game changer projects.
They're
So,
pinch me projects.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
Oh, that's so
what
awesome.
the
good
hell
for
they
you.
can
so
go.
yeah, we could talk off air a little, but I'm not allowed to say it out loud for fear they don't happen or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because you never know. Stuff goes. It's so weird. Like, stuff goes when it should go. And like we made Camera Obscura, and we thought right after that we were going to make a movie called Dream Machine. Was going to be our second movie, and great script, movie we love. To this day has not, but we've made, I don't know, 15, 20 movies now. To this day, that movie hasn't been made. And Pale Door went from concept to release in like a year and a half. And so you just never know when stuff's going to happen. But we've got a lot of cool stuff out there, some bigger stuff, some smaller stuff, but again, we just, if it's cool, we want to make it. And that doesn't, if it's 250,000, great. If it's 2.5 million, great. Like, we don't kind of care, to the extent that as long as we feel like we can get it made. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
No, it sounds like you guys are got
I guess
a lot
projects
going on. That's really amazing to have that problem.
We're trying. We're hustling.
It's a good problem to have.
Good problem to have. That kind of comes to our last question. Where can we find you? Not physically, because I don't want people knocking down your door, but
No, give us your home addresses.
Alex's home address is
Social media, or I know you have your website, which is pretty much is up to date with all your great films.
Yeah,
So
it's up to date ish.
ish.
It's hard keeping up with a website.
Tell me about it.
I'm
Yeah.
on Facebook, but mostly for friends and family. Instagram and Blue Sky. I finally gave up Twitter. I had to
Right. Yeah, I
had
know
to
a lot of
go for
people
my mental
migrated to Blue
health.
Sky. Yeah.
So Blue Sky and Instagram. I don't know what my actual name on any of those things are, but
Maybe if they just look up
if you
your name.
search Cameron Burns, I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll find me. While Alex is talking, I'll look up my Instagram and see what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know mine either.
mine's Alex Euting and all those things. I'm the only one. I'm easy to find.
Well, I'm gonna
Cameron,
find
hopefully your Twitter got cleaned up because I know you got hijacked.
Yeah, that was I got fun story. I got logged out of Twitter, and I was just like, well, I'll take this as a sign from God that I shouldn't be on Twitter. So I was just like, screw it. So like I just never got back on Twitter or whatever. Then my buddy texts me, he's like, hey man, there's like gay porn all over your Twitter, right?
What?
And I was like, no. So he sends me this video, and I was just like, well, I'm glad someone's getting some use out of it. I mean, they changed the name, so you can't really tell it's mine. But yeah, so that was a thing.
Cameron Byrne.
I tried to tell Twitter, and Twitter didn't seem to give a shit. So it
A new path
probably
for
is
you,
still
Cameron.
there. I don't know.
He's filming some different stuff.
Yeah, just in case that
it's
doesn't
all
work out
content.
the porn side.
It's all content.
Right.
And yeah, so on Blue Sky, I'm at Cam Burns PSP, and on Instagram, I'm Cameron_R_Burns.
Perfect. So everybody can follow you and keep up with all your projects, and
also
of course,
you can follow the company is
like the company,
all those sites.
yeah,
So.
Paper Street Pictures. Yep. Which is up to date mostly, I would say. So.
Yeah, we try with the socials. It's hard. Like I said, there's only a handful of us, so that's the stuff that falls through the cracks. Is like you look up and your website hasn't been updated in 2 years, and you're just like, oh shit, we've been making movies, we forgot.
Oh, I'm so bad at social media. My wife is my social media manager.
Yeah, one day we'll get someone.
I show up when we have to promote something, and I'm just like, and retweet Cameron.
Yeah,
it's a lot because even the podcast, I can't keep up just trying to advertise this podcast.
It's hard, man. It's hard, and like. Yeah, between that stuff and keeping up with the socials, and I have my own podcast, and so like it's just
yeah, you have the podcast too, which is doing well, right?
Yeah, it's called Late to the Party. Check it out if you want. It's
Late to the Party. Check that out. YouTube, or is it audio? Just audio?
It's audio only, but it is on YouTube and audio only.
Okay,
it's basically we bring on people who haven't seen like a big zeitgeisty movie, and we have them watch it, and then we talk about it. So
awesome.
We've had people who haven't seen Princess Bride or Scream or Titanic, and then they watch it, and then we kind of talk about what they expected and what it was, and so
that's interesting.
It's a good time.
That's a cool concept.
Yeah. Almost out of the theater reaction kind of thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's you get a lot of. Sometimes they don't like the movie, and you end up with a weird podcast. But you never know.
You're like, what? Why don't you like this?
Yeah, it's like Graham Skipper didn't like Raging Bull, and I'm like, I guess you hate quality. There we go. The first episode we ever recorded was Graham Skipper not liking Raging Bull, and we were like, well.
This is going to go far.
I was like, maybe we need to record a second episode to make that one first, so Graham's can be second.
I know, right? Yeah, we've done that before. We had to flip them just because I'm like, that's not.
I was like, man, didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Well, we do 100% appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having
us. Alex, for talking with us on our
Of course.
podcast. We really appreciate it. This is the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. You can watch us on YouTube, or you can listen to us on any audio streaming platform. And we'll have another episode coming out in 2 weeks. So see you then.
See ya.